Welcome to Red Pill Diaries, it's Craig. I'm going through a bit of shit at the moment with my dog, but he's still alive. There he is there. He's bouncing back again today. I've got the opinion of 4 vets, decided to leave him alive a bit longer, and hopefully we can do it naturally, but he was in a bit of pain there. I don't want to go through horrible pain, so I was thinking of getting euthanized, but yeah, we've called that off. Anyway, let me move on to a new thing that I'm talking about here, which is how you can see the hand at play. And I was explaining the term in English. Sorry, English. Because I'm not speaking in an English-speaking country, right? So I was saying birds of a feather flock together, and oh, look how that mark on the wall marries up with my head. Anyway, not to get sidetracked. How do I explain this one? Right, so if you look at occult, which is hidden, hidden meanings, hidden.
Occult means hidden.
I know, but I'm just saying hidden societies, hidden this and that. And if you look at the fact that you have this, you don't have a paedophile that is at large. You usually have a paedophile ring. They're part of the birds of a feather flock together. And I really believe that what we're seeing with the many videos I've done before this over the years about fake alien invasion, and I know that people go, oh, here he goes again. Just hear me out. So now we have, again, even some of the independent media. You know how you can have minions of the system who don't understand they're minions of the system, and that is because they get fed something. Let's say it's a BuzzFeed or whatever it might be if you're in the media, and you're trying to report on things, but your reporting is based upon you believing that if you're a good journalist, you believing that you're actually getting the truth out to the public. But this is where you can get these, as Matt calls it again, pissed on breadcrumbs, right? And I believe that there's pissed on breadcrumbs right now with this fake alien invasion right now. Sorry, what do they call it? There's a word for UFO. They've got a new term for UFO. Something about aerial phenomenon. Something aerial phenomenon. Who cares? It's not. It's meaningless. It's just new programming. But what I believe is that the way the pandemic was, for example, is at least America and China, but possibly others. Is Russia America's enemy? Oh, they're ramping up on the border of Russia. Are they really? Are they just saying that so they can excuse to rape their people as well? You keep taking our money, yeah, Mother Russia, yeah. And the Americans go, yeah, get those fucking Chinese and Russians or whatever the fuck it is, and for some reason kill the guys down in Venezuela, whatever other wars we can get, and bomb those people in Yemen, or help Saudi Arabia do it. Just the amount of insanity in the world right now is just off the charts, right? But to answer the conspiracy theorists out there, one thing you can say is that birds of a feather do flock together. That is the way it goes. And what if we already know. Here's a good example. Royal family, if you look at them around the world, Prince Stephanie of Monaco and all these people, they all hang out in the same kind of pedo circles. And they have done forever, because they don't want from I don't know. I'm sure it'd been the same from the Sumerian time back through the time of the Romans, when you also had kiddie fiddlers, and you've got the kiddie fiddlers of Afghanistan and Iraq, which they make that into a kind of video meme in a way to show how to defile the image of Iraqis, most of whom would be good, or many of whom be good at least, right? Defile that image. Defile the image of Jews or people in Israel, because of the fact that you know in history for a fact that, okay, the Rothschild family, just for a start, is a decrepit, evil, horrible, disgusting family that has had control of the banking system, which is probably the number one alpha parasite among all parasites, such as certain charities, big name charities, right? Churches around the world, whatever religion it is. I say churches, but I mean anything. I mean the Hindu church, the Sikh, whatever the hell it is. especially those religions that exercise control over indoctrination, such as the Catholic Church or the Protestants, or especially the Muslims as well. The indoctrination towards being a certain way that is beyond control of yourself, right? So control of yourself, I mean, even though Buddhists aren't without fault, certain religions in areas where certain energy rituals or energy understanding, education, that kind of thing is taught and understood, it's about control, or at least understanding, if not control, of yourself, right? Whereas things like the U.S. government, the federal government, or the English Empire, called also known as the British Empire, because Britain does not exist; it is England, right? It's not even England, because the people we would be happy, most of us in Scotland, for most people in England to be part of our country. If they're just normal folk who want to get on with their lives, not realizing they're being completely preyed upon energetically from this system that they subscribe to and will even fight for, and will even shame you for being against. And this is the perfect trick of the system, right? Is to set us all against each other, but also to make up down and down up, to skew everything beyond recognition, so that everyone doubts their own thoughts. So as far as this whole cult thing is concerned, I really believe that carrying on from the cult of emperors and the cult of monarchies, moving on to the elite, and let me think what other groups there are. The elite and the depraved, and the radically depraved, but depraved to a level that affects someone else. It's a definition I gave, and I've said quite a lot of times. If you say that good and evil, it's a fine line. If you say that kind of thing, you're either someone who hasn't thought about it properly, or you're someone who's actually on one of the other sides, because you're trying to build a defense for yourself. It's like a precognitive defense for a situation that hasn't happened yet. And this is what I can see quite a lot in the world. So I think what the groups that we have going on are more recently, and it's not like last 20 years, how would this get into play right now, but it's the last couple of hundred years, at least, since we've had borders. I've mentioned many times about the fact that we have borders that didn't exist before. We've got a situation where people in every country, not just the white countries, saying, we don't want to have all these Pakistanis or Africans here, but literally in Africa saying they don't want to have all these Chinese here, or Chinese saying, Africans, if you're around here, for some reason the coronavirus treats you different, we want you out. Wherever it is bigotry that's creeping its head in. The other side of that is that, so we used to have the freedom to travel anywhere. But what used to not happen, and what shouldn't happen, because there's no reason it should happen, is mass immigration. So what we have is this amplification of all different things, which is distrust of someone from the outside, but rightful, because people from the outside are coming in their droves. Like, you see me, I travel by myself. Did I travel with a fucking legion of 500 people? No, I didn't. That's called an occupation. Where I come from, or where I've grown up, where I've seen of history, that's an occupation. So of course people in these different countries in the world are going to feel that this person's occupying. This will happen in China. China's being primed. Oh, now you can have 3 children. It's okay, everyone. You got 3 kids now. Oh, suddenly China's okay. And then in time they become the most prosperous. And what happens then? Who are all these fucking Africans here? Who are all these Europeans? They can go back to their own country. The tide will swing back and forward, just as orchestrated by, I don't know, an evil person armed with some artificial intelligence, so that you can enter data to say, I want this outcome, how do I make it happen? It's not just a strategy for business, a strategy for emotion, for mass human psychology, fed into a computer to give out. I'm just floating this idea because I've been involved in the space and I understand what IT systems can do. And if you think that I'm being a conspiracy theorist, then forget about it. Go watch some of the other documentaries that tell you that, I don't know, the Amazon example, where a woman doesn't know she's pregnant and gets sent stuff through the mail, or sent stuff in examples on Amazon what to buy, and it predicts that she's pregnant before she knows she's pregnant. Why? Because the things she bought before tell them that based upon the analysis of all the data we have, this is the outcome. It's called business intelligence. It's also called big data mining. Big data, it's got many names, and artificial intelligence applied to that. And we know artificial intelligence exists in different forms. There's a thing called artificial general intelligence, which is where you can mimic being human. But there's also artificial intelligence, which is can do functions that a human being would do, but on a much more accurate, grandiose scale. And if you can't do that, because you think, well, that would take me being 400 IQ to do that, not 400 IQ to see that level was not even impossible, but a 400 IQ level would allow. It's all right. It's all right. It's all happiness in the background. But a level of 400 IQ would allow me to solutionize in this particular way at a higher level. Well, if you can pass that one thing off to a computer, yeah, the computer's not going to pretend to be a human being. It can't sit there and feign the exact look in your eyes and your facial features and expression that you're feeling a certain way. It may not be able to do that yet. Maybe it can. Actually, I would say that almost certainly it can due to facial recognition software, things like that, because the fact that we know that exists, right? But oh damn, I got real sidetracked in that story now. Yeah, but damn it, what was I saying? I the tiniest bit of spliff. All right, I'm gonna carry on again. Hopefully, I will get to this thought pattern. I have completely got sidetracked.
Amazon.
Yeah.
Rings,
So
society rings,
got it. Thank you. So Amazon predicts that you're pregnant when you haven't been have any knowledge of it yourself. You haven't been tested or anything, right? So when I float these ideas, theories, conspiracy theories, I'm just saying that they're highly likely as the fact that the US election was rigged because of everything we see. As likely as the fact that governments of the world didn't just go by what was said to them, they went by an indoctrination. We are all following this path. Are we all agreeing? Okay, it's agreement, right. How do we get there? All different ways. Don't you worry about it. We've got it here. We've got our propaganda for people in Vietnam. We've got different propaganda for people in Indonesia, different propaganda for people in Australia, different methods used, right? We're going to go into full totalitarian control of Australia. We're going to go to totalitarian control in Scotland and England. We're going to show the difference between Scotland and England, because the fact that English are more free and Scottish are more fucking pathetically system slave. It just drives me fucking nuts. It's my people. And but then again, English are being more bigot. But that's something to be proud of now. Yeah, no, it's not. So there's all these different factions of shittiness that are getting ingrained in different people in the world. New Zealand, very much similar to my country, indoctrinated in this ridiculous socialism. And I'm not talking about empathetic socialism. I'm talking about like the bad side of Marxism is probably the most simple way I can say it. And you can see this in America and other countries as well, Canada, through the neoliberal movement, the totally dishonest political fuckery that's going on in some of these countries. Then you know the reason why I've got the camera at an angle is to line up that little bit at the top of the shut up, Craig. All right, so what am I talking about again? All right, cool. So what I'm saying basically is that all of our governments are linked, and I know I've said it many times before, but I'm telling you why I'm saying that the evidence gets stronger and stronger all the time that our governments are all linked into one. One was the fact that all the countries of the world moved in line to follow the same indoctrination, except for a handful of countries, including Sweden. Like Sweden's a bastion of fucking hope. Sweden, the country that wants to get Julian Assange so they can give him to the Americans on a plate to be sliced up. That's the country of their freedom and dreams and hope. No, they were given, look, here's a bunch of seeds. Here you go. Right, here's a bunch of little seeds of happiness that people go, oh, that's a trust seed. I believe the government's doing something good here. Right, Sweden, what have you got? I've got this one here, I've got that one there. I've got let in as many violent immigrants as you can. Is this right? Yeah. Look, hey, that's what you got. Okay. So we have to do this, do we? Yeah. Okay. Let in as many of these illegal immigrants as you can, but you want also look after them, give them the bosom of your nation. Sorry, like my t-shirt, the dog father. I thought I had to wear this because my dog's on his last days here. But anyway, so they all give them a little crumb for the people to go, maybe hey, look, ultra socialist. Actually, the country's split in two, by the way. All these countries of the world that are split into, some that aren't split into. So the weird thing in the world, that I'm going all over the place here today, but if I think about New Zealand, it's almost like a lot of people who I know are quite right-wing out there, and some, most of my friends are left-wing. Some of them are ultra left-wing, the ones I don't like, which is the political indoctrination I don't like, which is neoliberalism, which is actually kind of right-wing if you really look into it. But anyway, this left-wing, right-wing, it's all a ploy to get us all apart. And it's happening more and more and more, and build fear. And that fear makes us want to give more to them. Who? Them that caused the problems. Them, if you're from America, them that and England, Britain, that had the WMD situation where they bombed, and then, but France, don't worry, we'll follow. France and all these countries in Germany, the America is at odds with Europe apparently, and Britain's at odds with Europe apparently. Let's both join this war to bomb Syria and Iraq and Iran, or if we can get away with bombing Iran, or even if that whole situation is not true and Iran's part of it and Russia's really close to them and Russia's part of it too. We just don't know. What I'm telling you right now is if you're not thinking about those two possibilities, you're thinking about sleepwalking your way to oblivion. Because something's going on, we don't know what it is, and that something will be crafty and sneaky as fuck. And everything you can think of, if you can think in that way, if you can outcraft the crafty, which I've done many times in my life, I would say that these are some of the ideas you need to be entertaining as being a possibility, not a fact, a possibility. But you need to also remember that whenever you betray your instincts in life, if you're anything like me, it will have led to just total fuckery. So I'm going to stop. Basically, I'm going to start listening to my instincts more. And I think if we do that with these if we share our ideas of things that we have that could be happening, and we always remember to tell ourselves not to be ruled by fear, and also to look at things rationally, but also look at things with instinct, with see the energy in things when it's about people that might do horrible things. Okay, I'm going to tell you one of the things I was thinking about yesterday. It's quite a dark thought, but if you think about the Holocaust and who caused it and who also may have caused it. So we, of course, the Germans, the Nazis in Germany caused it, direct effect, right? But apparently, if you believe the Khazar Jews story, and that's something that I can't say is entirely right either. I wasn't there. There's a lot of misinformation around. This could be bullshit as well. I will say but how about how the Jews act? Again, bullshit. There's this narrative that gets given. Because most of the Jews I know are fucking amazing people. Not just good. They're fucking awesome people. Some of the, I would say a higher ratio of Jews who I know are more amazing than the average person, than the people that are meant to be these enemies of mine. So I can't blame that one either. Although I can say that from what we do know that is categorically true, some of the most evil, abhorrent people in history have been Jews, and they've done it in a very covert manner. The way they've, I would also say English. I would also say, you know, Romans, but they're gone now, or are they? Because we have to believe this story that people just disappeared throughout history. I don't think so. I think they malformed into different groups. I would say this is how the elite of England, not the people of England, but the elite of England, they are in this, at the pinnacle of this, the head of the dragon. And I wouldn't say that there's a chance that it couldn't be a two-headed dragon shared by one or more, or a multiple-headed dragon. America, China, all of them in cahoots, because even the most outlandish claims against the most not unverifiable but unauditable governments in the world, or regimes, whether it be like a regime like a royal family of Saudi Arabia that are, people in that family, if not all of them, are doing obscene, horrible things. Because we know in human nature, the average person, when presented with endless gifts of desire, that desire will end up malforming into something that's generally evil, and that is because gluttony, again, from the Bible. I was talking to someone about this yesterday, because they were totally against. Oh, it was something on my channel actually. I put a comment out, actually, one of the previous videos in Ripple Diaries. This girl was actually slating someone else because he was obviously a Christian, which I used to think was a bad thing, and it's something I'm never going to be. I will tell you right now. But I will take the lessons that I see from different places, but I'll also take my instinct to say, I can see that this particular thread of lessons has been crafted in a certain way. Whether it was done that way originally, or whether it was done that way later on. Take crafting, for example, in the Muslim religion, the head of the world, where you pray towards, is Mecca. And yet everywhere in the Quran, if you look at the descriptions of what Mecca is, there are fruit trees, there are hills, there are everything that, if you look at the history of in Jordan, talking about again, not Jordan, sorry, maybe I'm thinking of the country where Petra, the city of Petra, lies. Basically, not only does Petra fit all the descriptions of that, but if you look at the original positions of the, not imam, what you call it again, the wall at the back of the mosque that should be should form a perpendicular line towards Mecca, the oldest mosques in the world all point towards Petra. So now they found that they traced this back. What happened? A group of people in Morocco, infiltrators, I'm going to call them infiltrators, right? Infiltrators into this new religion that just popped about 500 years after Christianity did. And remember, the Bible came up after, because Jesus did the church. He gave mankind the church of Christianity. He didn't give them the Bible. Right? That was afterwards. So that can also be, for all we know, and the removal of the books of Enoch and many others, 15 books I think in total. This could be part of what that and the translation of it in certain ways, and the modern misunderstanding. It could even be the modern indoctrination of how we communicate to misunderstand certain things. So when we read this thing, we're not looking at the figurative thing of what God is saying or might be saying, or the what do you call it again? The prophets say that God said, which could be just schizophrenia. Let's face it. Thank you, bee. It's not one of those honeybees. It's a black one. Really wants to be on show here. With strawberries. That's probably after. Oh bollocks! Where was I again? Their time. Okay, I'm getting it. It's coming back to me. So, if all these books could be used like everything else has been used, like the books themselves. Look, Christianity Comes, the screen, as Matt calls it, from Quantum of Conscience. And I don't look. I'm by the way, I've got to say this one thing, right? If any of you guys out there watch both Chalk Body Outline and EBT, really good discussions, especially when they're on. I reckon I love it. I'm on the Discord channel as well. I silently watch stuff. I'm like a voyeur on there. But anyway, if you like watching that kind of stuff, and you like watching Matt, and you realize that some of the stuff that Matt says is base level, it's 101, and it's through the spectrum. I find that he sticks to the spectrum. He doesn't go, right now I'm at this level, and now we've got this cultist talk. And that's the one thing I will say about Chalk Body Outline, is that the people in there, even the meme community, have this cultist thing, like they start talking in code. And look, I'm a guy who's spent his whole life explaining things that are extremely complex to people who are fucking morons. And in an area that, whether it be telecommunications or IT systems or networking of various types, or RF, networking, whatever. I'm explaining something that I understand, but they don't. And I know there's certain... You don't even fucking give it a rest. Jesus Christ. It's right on. Maybe it's the wine. But I know that I'm being obtuse. I know that I'm being over verbose. I know that I'm using jargon I shouldn't use. And therefore, why am I doing that sort of stuff? Well, I'm not actually. But I'm saying if I was to do it, I know that I'm doing it. And the reason is because of ego. People will... people will do things to serve their ego, like show how amazingly smart they are by using all these big words, and I don't know, you know what I mean? And I think the same thing is happening in these communities, in these truther communities, all sorts of communities, liar community. I'm going to call them liar communities, like the neoliberal, the fucking lie. I've never seen that, even throughout history, if you study any type of movement that happened, there's never been a movement that's lied to themselves so much as the neoliberal movement. I'm going to scream to myself, that's me being artistic, making a statement, and telling you must listen. Although if I was to do the same thing in reverse, and you were to tell me that, listen to this, you'd be like, I'm not listening. But if I was to say I'm not listening, you would say, oh, you're so disrespectful. There's always a new... You know what? I'll just say one thing. I know I've darted and dashed all over the place in this little topic and video, but I would say that if anyone is, one, not calm, irrational, anxious can come from many places, so explore that further if someone's anxious. But if someone is a fucking hypocrite and they constantly live a life of double standards, then I think you have to ask your questions, is this a good person? And because the things that I remember seeing, politically in the past, if I see countries they were run by a right-wing government, I saw the same things applied differently than what I'm seeing in the left indoctrination, right? And that is hypocrisy. It's one of the biggest. I would say that there's a tale, like someone. So just saying this, and when I was here, no eye contact. As people are readable by tales. As people are readable by tales, I also think indoctrinated psychological movements, because you could call them cultural movements or subculture movements, but they're not. They're actually it's a psychological culture, an indoctrination, or a cult. Again, and I'd say that all these cults have something in common. That is hypocrisy. They don't mind saying one thing and doing another. They don't mind. Like, take the okay, I know I defended the Jew situation before, but now on the scathing side, if you look at the attitude that I've seen from at least half of the Israelis who I've met, and maybe a third of the Jews outside of Israel who I've met, they are quite elitist in their belief of who they are, either whether it be the God's people thing, or whether it be, sorry, I'm just gonna pick my nose. Whether it be, I spent a day crying. Whether it be the, that's not just a thought. Oh, he's lying now. It's not that. But if you are to look at the things that people excuse things for, such as my own country, you'll have an anti-Scottish sentiment. The most anti-Scottish people who I've met in my country tend to be Protestants, tend to be Rangers supporters, or Hibs, sorry, not Hibs, fucking Heart support. No, not so much Heart supporters, really. Okay, Rangers supporters, seen quite a lot. But anyway, mostly Protestant clubs. And I'm neither Protestant nor Catholic. My mum's Catholic, my dad is Protestant Catholic mix, and I've grown up with a Protestant auntie in Glasgow. I would say that most of the lies came from, even though historically lies mostly come from the Catholic Church, and our community. For example, Father Joe was a paedophile and just got found out after my auntie was trying to force me to go to that church just before she converted to Catholicism, right? So all I'm saying is that the hypocrites are everywhere, and hypocrisy is the tell. So look for the signs, because if you have hypocrisy in one area, you might have it in another area. Like, for example, if a girlfriend goes round to her friend's house and is like, "Oh, girlfriend, what happened to you? Did he harm you? No. What happened? Did he do this? Did he cheat on a girl? No. What it was I cheated and he found out about it, and then oh, well, don't you worry, you deserve better anyway." Instant flip to the thought to marry the narrative of this is my friend and this is I'm going to go along with this one. People will do that. Again, I'm not lying because I've stretched my nose, I've just got itchy nose. But all I'm saying is that people will betray their own apparent. People who betray their apparent morality, that hypocrisy, watch very closely, and even as your family, try to get it away from you, because it's not a good thing. Yeah, I might cut this video a little bit short now. A lot of things to think about at the moment. Life's pretty hard at the moment, trying to find out what to do with my dog. I've flip-flopped a couple of times. It's pretty hard. Tweet. Yeah, I'll leave it to another time. I have a few things I wanted to talk about. I'm just going to leave it to another time. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this talk at you.